Welcome back to the IdahoSports.com boys basketball state tournament preview special. Time to break out the Class 3A brackets. Let's bring on our broadcast team. It's Logan Green and Lance Taylor. Lance, as soon as I came on to bring you on, I saw you get up and walk off camera. I was a little concerned there for a second.
See, I was tying flies tonight because I'm going to fish the Owyhee River while I'm out there. So you see that?
Okay.
Thanks for the invite, Lance. I must have missed it. I don't. It's weird.
What?
I don't have a text message saying, "Hey, Logan, come fishing with me" in my phone. I was double checking. I didn't see it.
Hey, I'm all for those who invite themselves.
This is awkward.
All right. Well, before we get too deep into fishing talk here, let's break out this 3A bracket and break it down. And all the 3A fans that are in the chat, I want to hear you give your favorite team, your favorite player, your favorite coach a shout out. If you got a question, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. I want to hear from all those 3A diehards. Here's the bracket. These games taking place at Meridian High School. Right away, 4 versus 5. McCall, Donnelly, and Teton. Those are 2 district champions from districts 3 and 6. Snake River, the 1. They'll play Homedale, the 8. And then 2 versus 7, Bonners Ferry and Kimberly. And 3 versus 6, Filer and Marsh Valley. Logan, what's the number one thing that jumps out to you when you look at this bracket?
How hard it is. I mean, there is not, you look at the first round, Kimberly as a 7 seed, they are a solid team. It is going to be hard. Anybody that makes it to the championship game is going to have to earn it, right? McCall, Donnelly, and Teton in the first round, like you said, 2 state champions, or it's 2 district champions, excuse me. But Teton was a team that, I thought coming into the year and throughout the year that Max Prep rankings would spit them out at a 2 or a 3, but to see them come in as a 5 is very surprising. This is a loaded tournament. I mean, me and Lance did the same exact tournament last year, and a lot of these teams are the same. Bonners Ferry, they've got a lot of the same guys as last year, and they made it to the finals. Snake River has a lot of those same pieces. Teton has a lot of those same pieces. It is loaded from top to bottom, and it's going to be very competitive.
Lance, what jumps out to you when you look at this?
Well, I see a lot of the same things that Logan sees, and I see some potential first round upsets. That's what, anytime you got a field this heavy, I see some first round upsets. I mean, you look at Teton and McCall, well, that's your 4-5 game. That should be really statistically your best game of the first day anyway, because you got the 2 closest teams on there. But you look at a Kimberly, and that's someone that Logan mentioned. A lot of the losses that Kimberly had, you got to remember Cummins was out during that time with the foot injury. Larson was out for a part of that. They're both back now. Larson came back before Cummins did, but that's a different team than the team that lost a bunch of those games. Now, I'm not saying they're going to step up and knock off Bonners Ferry, but I think that is one that could potentially be an upset in that first round. Marsh Valley, very, very scrappy team. One thing about Marsh Valley, and I've watched them 3 times this year, Marsh Valley will not lose a game because they got outworked. Marsh Valley will outwork almost anybody they play. If they lose, they're not a tall team. If they lose, maybe it's because they just got beat by a better team, But Marsh Valley is going to test everything you have. And you look at that first round against Filer, a team that Rob Anderson has playing extremely well. That's a very interesting matchup as well. And again, I'm not saying Marsh Valley wins that, but Marsh Valley is good enough to step up and make a really solid game out of Filer.
Yep. Isaac Bowman in the chat says, coming out of the most competitive district in 3A, Marsh Valley could potentially make a run on the bottom half of the bracket. Mm-hmm. Should be a competitive tournament overall for sure. Here's a shout out for the Homedale Trojans for Lucas Hall. Matthew Arnold says Teton got rolled by Cole Valley, and then McCall Donnelly beat Cole Valley. Logan, this is an exercise you love doing. Team A beat Team B.
I do. By the way, you can trace the College of Idaho to beating UConn this year, which is awesome, right? That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
I'm willing to throw money down on that right now.
All right, Lance, let's do it. No, so I mean, yeah, if you look at it, right, you think that, I mean, McCall is really good, and that's why it surprises me that they came where they came, right? And at this seed, a 4 seed. But here's the worry that I have with McCall Donnelly, right? Is that the league was not as competitive as it has been in the past. It is what it is, right? You saw Fruitland go to their play-in game against Kimberly and get walloped, right? And Fruitland was a team that was there. Now, granted, McCall Donnelly did kind of run away with the district, right? District 3, they were in control of the SRV. Really wasn't ever a doubt that they were going to come away with it. But it is, who are you playing during during this last month of the season versus who were they playing the last month of the season? And, a team like Teton has had to go up against Sugar, has been going up against Snake River throughout the season, and, has had these punches and in going lately. While McCall Donnelly, maybe not as much late. That would be my only thing to look at there. And Teton, they are just a fast team. And I know I love to play that game, Brandon, but it really is based on matchups, right? So, you might have a matchup that doesn't exactly fit in one game, but it helps you in another game. So it's going to be awesome. I think that I can't believe that game is a first round game. It's going to be like way to kick off the tournament.
Pretty remarkable. Let's talk about the top 2 seeds. Here's a shout out from Alicia Higginson. Snake River, go Luke Higginson. He crossed 1,000 points in his career earlier this year. Of course, they've got Marcus Coombs, the son of head coach Robert Coombs. Kind of quietly, he doesn't like to boast about his accolades, Lance, but he's very quietly like one of the greatest coaches in Idaho history. I mean, he's won
I'll
over.
tell you what. I know most of these coaches at the 3A level, and I know most of them personally. And you guys know how highly I regard all of them, but especially Bob Coombs. I mean, Bob is one of those guys that I love the way he coaches. Bob is an accountability coach, and he's a coach that demands high execution and high discipline from his teams, and his teams respond with that. I mean, you see years where obviously this year they've got a lot of talent. They've got a lot of size, a lot of balance on this team, but you see how competitive Bob's teams are, even on years when they maybe don't have a lot of talent or don't have as much talent as they had this year. Bob Coombs is, to me, the guy that kind of stands out, amongst that group. And I've always loved the way that Bob coaches. I love his teams, and frankly, I think it's Snake River's tournament to lose. I mean, Snake River, this is a team that was not only good to start the season, they got better as the season went on. When you look at the size of their team and the things that they can do, and a Luke Higginson that is such a great player, Coombs, that's only a junior and it continues to get better. You look at Keaton Kessler with that group as well. This is a great team. And then you add that with a coach like Bob Coombs, that is a great coach. I mean, that's a tough double-edged sword for any other team to overcome.
I mean, he's got over 500 career wins. I don't know if anybody else in Idaho can even make that claim. It's just incredible to think about. Logan, on the other hand, the other big favorite coming in is Bonners Ferry. Here's Bo Bateman. Bonners Ferry bouncing back. Trey Bateman going to show out. And here's Ryan Skaggs from North Idaho. Asher Williams is him.
Right.
I was when we were going, I was looking over stuff today, looking at these teams, and man, last year, we don't have Sugar Salem here in the room this time, right? It's everybody else's turn, and they were the team last year that had a lot of those older guys, and I'm looking at their rosters, and everybody's back. All these big names that we saw last year in the tournament play big minutes are all back, and that Snake River Bonners Ferry game, I don't know if you remember it, Lance, but that was one of the best games, a semifinal game. There was a controversial goaltend, it came down to the very end. I don't think that play mattered because they tipped the ball right back in. I don't know if it actually mattered, but that's water under the bridge. But that,
by the way, Bob Coombs was right on that. By the way, he was right.
If those two collide for a state championship game, it's going to be awesome. I mean, they have so many great players. Bonner Ferry, like Asher Williams, like they said there, the Batemans, right? It's going to be a dogfight, and anybody, it's going to be great. I think Bonner Ferry honestly has I don't want to say that, but I think they've got the quote easier path down there than I look up top, because I think that 4-5 winner is going to be a very tough out for Snake River. Not that Snake River can't handle it, just saying, like, I think that game will be more competitive, that team there. But man, Bonners Ferry, I don't see a reason why we won't see them in the championship game. Based on what we've seen throughout the year, what we saw last year at state, they don't leave any doubt in my mind that they could get it done again.
Yeah, they've lost 3 times this year to 5A Coeur d'Alene, who's at state,
Only
5A
a
Lake,
12-point game too.
right, 5A Lake City by 4, they're at state,
Yep.
and West Valley High from Spokane by a single point. And they have played Sandpoint, who's at state, Lakeside twice. They have played Pullman from Washington, who's no slouch. They are battle tested and they're ready to go. This Bonners Ferry team is really good. McCall getting some more love. Here's Lindsey Green. Watch out for McCall Donnelly. And we also had on Instagram, guys, a shout out as well from Shannon Kershaw 79. McCall Donnelly is hungry and wants this win. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's put this bracket back up on the screen, guys. We've kind of identified Snake River, Bonners Ferry. Lance, I know Filer is a team you really like a lot as well. And that would be kind of, I think, the next team if you're looking at potential championship picks.
Yeah, Filer won their first game of the season, lost 5 straight after that. And I watched them lose to a Sugar team in Sugar. And then they won every game since then. They are a very, very good team. Mm-hmm. Rob Anderson, fantastic coach. Of course, coached at Teton for a number of years, went out to Thermopolis, Wyoming, came back, coach to Idaho's coaching at Filer, just doing a fantastic job for them. I think they are a team that could. Having said that, I think it comes down to Snake River and Bonners Ferry. I think Bonners Ferry, if there is a team that could potentially beat Snake River, I think it is Bonners Ferry, even though I still think Snake River is the best team. And it's theirs to lose. Bonners Ferry is such a very good team. Look what Coach Williams has done. I love those Bonners Ferry kids. Of course, I love the kids from most of these teams anyway. They're just great kids. I've got to know a lot of them. But those Bonners Ferry kids, I've watched this group since they were just freshmen, since they were young, and you see what Coach Williams has done with them. The hard thing with Snake River is, can you overcome not only that skill, but that size? I think Bonners Ferry matches up with anybody and probably better than most when it comes to skill, but the sheer size of a Snake River team. And again, coached by, who I think, the great Bob Coombs, makes them a special team.
For sure. Logan, let's take a look at our 3A players to watch here. We picked one from each squad, and then I want you to kind of give me one guy you're going to be keeping an eye on this weekend. We picked one from each team, just kind of a jumping off point. Asher Williams is him from Bonners Ferry, as Ryan Skaggs said. Carson Lemoyne from Filer. He was at Wendell last year, transferred in, and Filer's glad to have him. He's got size and he's got ball handling skill. Danny Lamelli from Homedale. Jacob Cummins from Kimberly missed a chunk of the season with injury. He's back in the fold now. Justice Whitworth of Marsh Valley. He does the dirty work inside, basically, for an undersized Eagles team. Mike Foster, the big man for McCall Donnelly. He's going to be important, matching up with Ty Brown of Teton in that opening round. And then we have Luke Higginson from Snake River as well. Who's one guy you're excited to see?
Man, I look at it and I've seen pretty much everybody here play either football or basketball or both. So, you look up and down and we've seen a lot of these guys, and last year or in football, Asher Williams, he was a guy that could just take over when it needed to be done. And he's a guy that could easily step up and win the MVP award. Also, Luke Higginson, this is a kid that if he gets hot, watch out on the season. Coming in, he's hit 43 3-pointers. He's shooting 36% behind the arc. This is a guy that if he gets hot, he could push a team to a state championship from behind the arc. So I'll give you 2. I would look out for those 2.
Lance, who you got?
Well, obviously I've watched a lot of these kids play, but the ones that I haven't watched play that I'm excited to see that I haven't watched play is Foster from McCall, and of course Asher Williams from Bonners Ferry. Watched Asher since he was just a youngster, and that old Norman Rockwell painting of those 5 basketball players standing around. You got like the really skinny one, the short one stuff. That kid was in that picture. He was just, to me, he was in that picture. He was just that kid that just came in as kind of that skinny freshman kid and stuff, and just turned into this fantastic ball player. He's a fun kid to watch, and again, very well coached as well.
Yep, that's a good list. A couple more comments for McCall Donnelly before we hit the door. Lindsay, again, Logan says, I agree, talking about it's based on matchups. You can't really look at, well, this team beat this team. And so he says he agrees with you, but at the same time, he still thinks McCall is legit. And here's Matthew Arnold. He says, watch out for Sam Penny from McCall Donnelly as well. He's going to be a problem for everyone in this tournament. We could have easily put Sam Penny on our list. I went with Mike Foster only because, Logan, I think whoever wins that battle underneath between Ty Brown of Teton and Mike Foster of McCall Donnelly, I think whoever wins that matchup inside wins the game.
Yeah.
By the way,
you know, this is good. That game could be a state championship on its own. I feel like there is so much to look at in tip off number one. Like this isn't even Thursday night. This is Thursday at noon. We're getting it started off right at the 3A.
Go ahead, Lance.
You notice the smile on my face?
Yes.
Yeah, BYU is just about to knock off Kansas with 17 seconds on the clock. I just want to put that out there. Speaking of, it doesn't matter who has beat who and who hasn't. I'm just saying.
On the list of things I couldn't care less about. I'm just kidding.
I think
Lindsay,
you can trace College of Idaho to beating them too, Lance. So
yeah, I know. Well, see, I've already given Logan a hard time because my Cougars knocked off his Wolfpack earlier this year by like almost 30. But you know, I'll tell you the most important thing on our plate right now is this 3A tournament coming up, and Logan and I are pumped. We have a fun time with this tournament, and any of you that are out there, come up and say hi to us. We love it. We love talking to fans. We can't pick every team to win it, but we love these teams that are coming in. We respect the coaches, respect the players, and we love the fan bases. Please come up and say hello.
Yep. Okay. Lindsay gets the last word. I see another Snake River McCall matchup similar to the 21 and 22 seasons. A lot of old familiar faces at this 3A tournament, including Logan Green and Lance Taylor back at 3A, second year in a row.
Taylor's oldest time.
That's right. Well, guys, excited to hear you on the call for the 3A state tournament at Meridian High School. Let's go Filer. Go Dad from T-Grow 215 as well. So this is going to be at Meridian High School on IdahoSports.com. Logan and Lance, thank you as always. We'll take a break and come back with our 4A state tournament preview. It's on the other side of this break. You're watching the 2024 Idaho High School Boys Basketball State Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com.